Welcome again to this training session on training on data management and visualization using Microsoft Power BI. If you're joining us for the first time, please subscribe, like, comment, and share widely. For our family, those who have been with us on this journey, we are really glad to have you back on board. Please enjoy. All right, so today we're going to pick up from where we left in our previous video. And in this particular video, we're going to look at the advanced visualization and reporting techniques that can help you just build a very robust and very efficient monitoring and evaluation dashboard solution on Power BI. So we need to look at what makes up a report or a dashboard, okay? Now, there are different ways. Technology has one of the things that you need to know that for a typical report, for you to have a report that you can really say this is a report, is that there are certain things that your report should have. We call them components of a report, all right? So number one, you need to have a title, all right? You need to have a title. Title, most of the time, they give context to what your report is trying to communicate, right? And your titles need to be very functional. And in this dimension of Power BI, we have two types of titles. All right. You have a dynamic page title and a static page title. All right. And then you also have, for the individual charts and graphs that you also have, you can also have dynamic headers and static headers. Okay. Now, the next thing that you also need to have on your report or dashboard is to have a timeline. All right. A timeline really dictates how the events have been occurring, and it helps you track your KPIs over time on the temporal scale. All right. And then the other things, when you want to slice down for your report to be really dynamic and interactive, you need to also have things like slicers. Slicers is a technique that allows you to review your report from different angles or from different dimensions. It also allows you to drill down through your report and to be able to just organize your report into different components or different report sizes, depending with what you are really interested with. And of course, the third thing or the third element that you need is a visual, or what you guys call charts. All right. Charts are now the elements that help us communicate information. All right. You can see here we have a table visual. We have here an area chart or a line chart. We also have a normal column chart, and we also have here a normal bar chart. All right. So these are what we call visuals. Now, when you're talking about visuals or when you're engaging visuals, one of the things that needs to come out clearly is that not every visual is going to work for you. You really need to sit down and think through about which visual or which chart is going to be suitable to the KPI you're trying to communicate. All right. And of course, we need our page navigators. Page navigators, for those reports and dashboards that have multiple pages, page navigators gives us a way of being able to navigate from one page to the other. Now, we have different types of page navigators. We have in-page navigators, and then we have the normal page navigators, and we also have bookmark navigators. All right. Yes. So let's see how to set up a template. So what we usually recommend is that you first create a template. One of the things that you really want to come out very clearly is that your report needs to be consistent in terms of colors, in terms of fonts, in terms of even the general overview of the report. It has to be very consistent, because this helps you to just give your report that professional streak that it requires. All right, so how do we set up this template? So the first thing when you get into Power BI, is before you can even start doing anything, all right? Once you have developed your data model, the first thing that you need to do is to create a template, all right? So I'm just going to create here a new page here, just an empty page, and then we're going to start off with the title, all right, or the header section. All right. Now, there are different ways you can have this. So you can have your header section, or you can have your sidebar. All right. So let's start with the first one. So for me to have my header title, or my header section, we're going to use some of these elements that are found here under insert. All right, under the insert menu, just navigate to where you see shapes. All right, so for this, there are a number of things that there are different types of shapes that you can have. So I just need to have my report to be being very professional. So we're going to go with the rectangle, but also feel free, depending with the design technique that you want to adopt, you can change depending with what suits your scenario. So for me here, I'm just going to pick this rectangle shape here. All right, and then we can have it. All right, I'm just going to resize it a little bit so that it balances well, and then I'm just going to extend it here. All right, and then you have your section, your header section here. Now feel free, you need to decide whether your report is going to have a header section, or you can have a side panel. All right, for a side panel, it's quite straightforward. You can just decide you want to have something like this, and then you can have your page navigators and this section. All right, now based on what we are trying to achieve, I'm just going to go back to my header section here, and then you're going to have it here like this. All right, once you have it like that, you can decide how you want to format these colors. All right, now for your shapes, to change the colors, just select under format here. Sorry, go to view, and then under show pens, select format. All right, you want to see now you have the data pane here, or the data panel, and the format panel. So the data panel enables you to see the different tables and fields that you have, and then the format panel allows you to be able to customize whatever element you are going to add to your report. Now, for this, I'm going to give it a different color. So you have the option to choose from size and style, but this one you can still do it just by using the placeholders like this. All right, and then I don't need to have a title because this one is just to just help me just denote that this is the header section. And then we have the shape style. This one just you can change it from rectangle to any other thing that you need. I'm not going to change anything from now. And then under style here, we have the field. All right, this field. So for this field, I'm going to just expand it under color. We're going to click here and change this to a color that we need. I'm going to have this shade of blue here. Right, now I have a very good page title that is there. Now, within your page here, you can decide what color, background color you want to have. All right, so for you to work with the background color, just click anywhere on the empty page here and select format canvas. All right, so from the format canvas, there are a number of options that you can have. All right, so we have page information. By default, it's just going to be standard. And then you can see you have tooltip and drill through pages. Later on, we're going to look at what a tooltip page is and what a drill through page is. For now, I just need to have a standard page to start building my report, or to start compiling my report. We have this allow Q&A, questions and answers. We'll circle back to this and we are going to see what it does. All right. The next thing that you can also have a look at is under the canvas settings. So under the canvas settings, it allows you to define the page size of your report. This is the default, which is usually 16 by 9. All right, but you can also have 4 by 3. You can also have a letter. A letter will be in form of A4. And then you can also have a tooltip. And then you can also make custom. You can make your custom measurements here by defining the height and the width. For now, I'll just keep it simple, just the normal 16 by 9, and then alignment. All right, for now, let's just have it on the middle. All right, but it doesn't really change much because you're the one deciding this. All right, the next option is the canvas background. So for canvas background, there are times when you need to have, depending with the color that you have. Branding is everything. If you're coming from a project environment or from an organizational environment, we usually have your communication team or the communication department have brand colors. All right. Every organization has brand colors and fonts that help them identify themselves or their products and services. All right. For now, we're just going to keep it simple. Our brand color is going to be this, a little bit of white. And now, when you're deciding on colors, we usually say don't have so many colors. Don't have a rainbow. At least 4 colors maximum, but we recommend 3 colors. If you have to go to the extreme end, have 4 colors. Right. So for our case, we're going to have some bit of blue, some bit of white, black, and a little bit of orange. All right. So those how many? Those are, I think, blue, white, black, and orange. Those are 4. All right. So, and then you can have your background color. So under your background color, you can see currently it is white. All right. But you can decide how you want to have that. All right. You can pick here. You can even say you can go with this. And then under transparency here, you can select this or just decide how you want to have your colors. For now, I'll just take it back to white. All right, I'll just take it back to white the way it was so that we can start building. Then, if you do not want to work with your color, you can have a wallpaper here, a canvas, an image background. All right. So for your image background, this allows you to add things like images, like logos, just to help you identify with the organization. All right. These are some of the efforts in terms of branding. Now, under image, I'm going to bring in a custom logo here. All right. So I'll just quickly navigate here under icons. So we're going to pick this logo here. All right. And then should be able to see. Currently, you can see the image fit is at normal and the transparency is 100. So reduce this, and then you can see it prints now in your logo, but you can also play around with the transparency so that it's able to blend in well. Now, choice of color is everything. Choice of color is everything because it also just helps you to build very neat reports and dashboards. All right. Under image fit here, you can either select fit like that, or you can select you want to have fill. All right. Or you can decide you want to have normal. All right. Yes. So as you're also doing that, you can also merge it with the color. All right. Yes, you can merge it with the color. So feel free, but I'm only just recommending that your background should not overshadow the elements that you're going to be adding on your report. So for now, I'll just make it just simple for purpose of everyone. And then I'll just switch this back to white. All right. And then also have the wallpaper. It's still the same thing. You can still browse. All right. We have filter pen. For now, we don't need to have any filter pen and don't need to have any filter cards. Right. Now, once you have your template like this, the next thing is for you to have your title. All right. Now, like we said, titles, there are 2 types of titles. We have static titles and we have dynamic titles. All right. I'm going to just start off with a static title. Now, for a static title, it's quite straightforward. All you need is to have your text box. So just come here under Insert menu and select text box. All right. So it's going to add your text box here. It's going to be empty. And then from there, you can decide how you want to have this. Now in here, just double click in here and we're going to say agro agro-based farmer. Okay, I'm going to just call it agro-based value chain project dashboard. Now, the choice of your title, is usually tied to what you want to communicate on that particular report. Now we have here, I'll just select this, Control or Control A, or can just highlight, and then we can increase this font size here, right? I'll just select this, and maybe I can give it 18 like this. We can even bold this. Let's see, I can give it 28, right? Then maybe I can balance it, and then in terms of you can center this, and then once that is done, you can have it here on top. Now I want you to notice that this text box, it has a white background, right? The white background is okay, but based on what techniques I'm going to use, I have this header section here. I want it to blend well with the section header. So what I'm going to do is to remove this background, this white background. So for that, just select, come here under format, all right? Select, we have size and style. Just scroll down until you see background and switch it off like this. Right? You can see it has now removed the background. Now, the next thing that we need to do is to look at our title. This title is very good, but the color doesn't really fits well with the background. So you can decide what color you want to have for this text. For that, you're going to work with the font color inside your text box here. This one that looks like an A. Just click on it, and then it allows you to pick the color of your choice. Right now, if you have more colors, you can work with more colors. Okay, I'm going to pick white. Okay, and then you can see there it is, agro-based value chain project dashboard. Now, your title needs to be very functional, all right? Because if you're working with a multi-annual project, you will want to be able to utilize the same dashboard as the years are progressing, as the months are progressing, as the quarters are progressing. You also want your dashboard to be able to reflect that. You want to be able to slice down your report and focus on different periods, focus on different elements, whether they are districts and all that. So, like for my case here, I want to be able to track the districts and also the periods, that is the timeline. So for this, I want as our reader is also interacting with this interactive dashboard and report, it should also, based on what they are selecting, based on what they are picking, the title should also be able to be dynamic to reflect what the report is reporting on. All right. Now, for that, we're going to require to work with the visual, with the card visual. All right. Card visuals allow us to create dynamic page titles and column chart headers, or just chart headers. All right. Now, the new text box also allows you to make it dynamic through the use of this value, add a dynamic value. For now, I'm not going to go into this, but I'll recommend that you work with slice with measures, because measures have more control when it comes to selecting this. Now, before I just go ahead, we had already created a slicer here. All right, we have this slicer here. All right, I'm just going to copy this and just copy this, go to home, first select it, go to home and select copy. Go back to here, this page, and then you can just paste it here. So you can see you don't need to create your elements from scratch. You can always reuse existing report elements that you had created earlier on. All right. Now, for such things, it will ask you whether you want to sync. For now, I'm not going to sync anything. I'll just have it as a default, the way it is. And then I'll say, do not sync. All right. So there, I'll click and drag this and just have it somewhere there. All right. Now you can see the color here. I'm going to give it, for this, I'll just select values. And then for the border, I'll just give it some, let's give it some white border, right? Something like that. Now you have your timeline here. All right. So I want us to be able, if I pick the year here, I should also be able to just show that this report is tailored down to the specific year that I've selected here. So what do I do now? This at this point, we want to create a measure. All right. So for this measure, I'll just select here, go to my measure table here, and then select create new measure. All right. So I'm going just to call this, let's call it, I'm just going to call it the dashboard page title. Right. And then here, I'll just say this one. Now, what do we need? Now, for this, we'll just, I'm going to start off by, we're going to join, all right? We're going to join our user text, that is agro-based value chain project dashboard. All right. And then we're going to make sure that we also close it. Now, whenever you are specifying user text, you actually enclose it inside these double quotation marks. All right. And then just to declare my year, I'll just say some space here. And then we're going to use the concatenation sign or the ampersand sign here. And then we want to say, we want to call a DAX function called selected value. All right. So this selected value is going to look at on your slices what has been selected. So we want to be able to select from our calendar table, go into a calendar table and be able to select the year. So the selected value should be coming from the calendar table, the year field or the year column. All right, like that. And then you just make sure you close it. All right. Now, if you are going, now, when you're using selected year, in case they don't select anything, what should be returned as alternative text? So you put a comma and you can say, wrap it inside double quotation and say all years. All years. All right. Yes, that's how we do it. Now, if your project is like mine, whereby you have districts and you might want to maybe select certain districts and all that, you can, this is what you can do. You can also say agro-based value chain project dashboard 2017, and then you can even say the district. All right. So here we'll again go and say and then you say selected value, and then we pick the district name. All right. So here we'll come under our farmer DB, and then we pick the name of the district like this. If nothing has been selected, we are going to say all district. Right, and then we close. Now, between this, all right, you can have a space here, then it will pick the year. Now, between the year and the district, we want to also have something here. So we're going to just do like this and have a space like that. Okay, and there you are. Okay, there you are. Click this. Right now, I've noticed something here. Right, so if maybe it's Mbale district, we want it to be able to say Mbale. So here I'll do something here. Just end this here. Then this one will say it should also end here. And then we join. And we put a space there. Okay. Just have some little bit of a space. All right. So our page title is ready. The next thing that we need to do is to pick a card visual. All right. So for our card visual, we are now going to do away with this static page title. So just select it, and then we have this ellipse button, right, or the three dots. Just click on it and select remove. It's going to remove it. The next thing that you want to pick is a card visual. So we have two types of card visual. We have the normal card visual, and then we have the new card visual. Feel free to pick any. I'm just going to pick the normal card visual like this, and then I'll just highlight it like this, drag it there on top, and then I'm going to link it to my measure. That was a page title. The dashboard title. There. All right. So you can see it there, but we still need to do some bit of formatting. I'm going to start off by going to this format icon. All right. Select more. I'm going to switch off the category label, then more options. The first thing that we're going to do is to come under size and style and switch off the background. All right. Once we switch off the background, the next thing we're going to do is to fix the color. So to fix this color, this is a call out. All right. So let's maybe have it up there. Call out. Under call out, I'm going to change. We need to change this. I'll change the font type first. I want to work with Sego, but feel free to work with any other font type. I'll show you how to work with custom fonts. For now, let's just pick the ones that are already here, available, supported within Power BI. This font, we just want to reduce it a little bit. There. Okay. Once you have it like this, you can bold this, and then the color can give it need a proper color. Let me just maintain white. Okay. Yeah, maintain white. So you have your agro-based value chain project dashboard 2022 all districts. Okay, there. So if I pick 2020, you can see it changes to 2020. If I pick 2021, it changes to 2021. If I pick 2022, it changes to 2022, and it says all districts. So at here, we can have, if we had a slicer that is slicing through the districts, like for example, we can pick a slicer here, another slicer. Let's pick another slicer here, and then we can link these to. I'm going to click here on add data. I'm going to go to FarmerDB and link it to district. All right, select district like this. Good. So there you are. And these slicers can be dynamic. If you want to work with the value chain, you can also select the value chain. So depending with what you are tracking. So for this one here, I'll just select what? I'll remove this Kasese first. I'm going to highlight this. And then I select Format Painter. And then I'll pick the formatting of this slicer and implement it on the new one here. All right. And there you have it. So we now have our districts. All right. Can have this one here. Right now, you can see now if I pick the select districts here, so it says agro-based value chain project dashboard all years because I've not picked any year, and then it says if I unselect this, it will say all years, all districts. So if I pick this district here, it now says Bundibujo. If I pick Kasese, it says Kasese district. All right. If I pick 2021 here, till now say agro-based value chain project dashboard 2021 Kasese district. Right. If I select this, it will just continue just saying 2021 all district. So this is a dynamic page title. All right. Very good. Now, the next thing that you also want to have is a page navigator. All right. So we have our title, we have our timeline, we have our slicers. We're going to go with the page navigator. All right. So now there are different ways you can actually configure page navigators. All right. Now the first one is quite simple. You just go to Insert, and then you're going to use the inbuilt page navigator functionality by going to Insert, going to Buttons, scrolling down to Navigator, and you can see we have two types of navigators. We have a page navigator, and we have a bookmark navigator. Now, for most cases, I usually say it's easier to work with the page navigators here. So select page navigator. All right. Now, by default, you're going to see your page navigator is going to be added here by default. Okay, by default. So you can just enlarge it so that it covers the extent to which you like it to cover. I'll just maybe format this a little bit. Pixels, okay. Then on my page navigator. For now, don't worry about it not having the aesthetic value that you want it to have. There. Now, in the event, I'll just rename this to template. This page, I've renamed it to the template. So that is my template page. And you can see the moment I renamed this, also this picked. All right. You can also rename this. All right. You can also rename this. You can say home. And then you should also be able to see that it has also picked it as home. Now, this formatting, it's quite good, but it's not fitting well with our selected, with our colors of choice. So we are going to do something a little bit down here. Use your arrow keys to just balance, to move it down or move it up. All right. So it's an easier way of just positioning your items here. Good. Now, so if I click on home, it should be able to go to home. If I click on template, it should be able to go to template. Okay. Now, let's see how to configure or how to customize your page navigator. So when you select your page navigator like this, all right, there are two things that you're going to see. You're going to see under the format pane or panel, you're going to have some options here. All right. So currently the size and style for now, I think it's okay. I don't need to change anything. I don't need to have any title for my page navigator. The shape, yes, the shape, you can decide how you want to have it. All these are options that you can pick from, but I'm just going to keep it simple. What I can do maybe, can say a rounded rectangle. All right. So a rounded rectangle will look like this. right? That's not bad, that's good. So I'll select this, and then the next thing that we're going to do, for rotation, I'll leave it the way it is. I'll come under here, under pages, right? Just leave style for now. Now we have hidden pages, right? So in the event that we say we want to hide a page, we also want our page navigator to be able to just reflect that. For example, we can hide this home page here, right? So when you hide the home page, you should be able to see that it should not be able to be here, right? Now, hiding your pages is a great way of deciding what the report reader is able to access. All right. So by default, once I hide this, I want the page navigator to also stop listing it on the page navigator. So just go back and select this. And then under your pages, switch off this option that says show hidden pages. Just switch it off like that. And you can see it now reverse back to one page button. All right. So as we are also creating new pages, I can say maybe duplicate this page. Let's see. And duplicate this page there. All right. So and also if I remove this page here, let me just delete this. It should also be able to stop listing it here from the page navigator. If I pick home here and I unhide home, okay, we should also be able to see it reflecting here. All right, so I can rename this to dashboard. Okay, and you can see it's picking it there nicely. Now, the next thing that we want to do, okay, the next thing that we want to do is to come and format this in terms of colors, in terms when you hover, when you pick. Now you can see currently it's using the black color to just denote that that is the currently selected page, right? So we can further customize this by just selecting our page navigator here. And then this time we go under style, right? So under style here, you have different configuration options and apply settings too. So the state you can choose between the default, hover, press, and selected. The default is when the normal way, just like this, when it's not selected, when it's not doing anything, that is the default. So under the default, we want this to be able to blend well with the background. All right. So for that, I'll simply just select here, and then for my text, we can have it let me maybe increase it to 12. You can decide whether you want to bold or not. For the color, I think the color is okay. Maybe I can just change this to white. All right. And then just have the horizontal alignment being centered here. Right. The next thing is to navigate to where you have the fill option. Right. So under the fill option, we're going to give it the same color as this header section. So here, just come and pick your color like this. All right. And then you can see it has given you that color. For the border, you can decide whether you want to have the border or you can still remove the border. All right. So maybe for the border, I can give it like that. There. All right. So you have it here. So what happens when I hover? I also want it to be able to just show me where I'm selecting it. So you can see currently it's using the white color. So just select this and then change now this option under style to hover. All right. So when we hover, we're going to maintain the same color, everything. The only thing that we're going to change is the fill color. Right, this fill color, we're going to change it and give it something like let me say this shade of blue. You see, all right, there, that one is very good. All right. Now, when it's selected, blank no really doesn't sit well with me. So we change the settings, the state to selected when it's selected. All right. So when it's selected, I want it to have some under fill here. Select fill. I'll just give it a deep blue like this. All right. There. So you can have it like this. So if I now with this, you are ready to go. Right now from here, this is now our template is now complete. So we can remove this, and then we can duplicate this. Now every time now from here, every time you want to add a new page, you don't create a new page from scratch the way we have been just doing by clicking on plus. This one, you're going to waste a lot of time trying to redesign this page again. So this time, just always have your template ready, and then just right click on the template page and select duplicate page. Once you duplicate your page, from there you can rename it to whether you want to have it as a dashboard or whatever it is that you like to call your page. All right, there. Now, you can see now we have the template, we have the dashboard. Now, when I click here, it takes me to the template page. When I click on dashboard, it takes me to the dashboard page. All right? Yes. Now, from there, you can now start adding your visuals. For example, we had already created some visuals here. So you can come here. I'll pick this. Just go to home. Select, you can select cut or copy. I'll select cut for now. And then go to dashboard. And then just simply paste it there. All right. So once it's there, can drag it and try to balance it like that. All right. There you are. Right, so you can continue doing that. I don't know what else we have. You can even pick this one here, and then you can say cut, paste. Good. I think I can have this one sitting here. Good. Right. So that is how you create your template and you're able to reuse it. Now you can see now it has that professional streak that we are looking for. All right. Good. Let's go to the next stage. Now, we have so many things that we want to report on. All right. If you look at our data table, and the farmers DB, we want to be able to report on the indicators that we had talked about. But inside this, our data, most of the time, your data tables are going to be divided into two. You're going to have categorical data and you're going to have numeric data. Right? Categorical data, in most cases, under analytics, we call them dimensions. All right. Under the gender, we have the gender dimension, we have the marital dimension, we have the district dimension, we have the parish dimension, village dimension, ID type dimension, all the way. And then we have the measures. We have the farm size measure, main crop plants measure, number of productive plants measure, and productive plants measure, all this. So measures, technically, what measures means are the things that you can aggregate. You can calculate this. All right. So dimensions allows you to cross-tabulate your different, like main crop here, you can see under main crop, under coffee Arabica, what farm size is under coffee Arabica. All right. Now for this, you can decide whether you want to create each individual chart for everything, but we are professionals. We don't need to do that. Our point is to try and use as very little space as possible to try and communicate as much as possible. Now, this does not mean that you you congest your report. All right. For this, we're going to require parameters. All right. Parameters. Parameters is a great way of just summarizing your information. So how do we create parameters. All right. So to create a parameter, this is how you go about it. The first thing that you need to know is what parameters are you going to create. So for our case here, we're just going to take all the dimensions that we have on our tables, right? Just going to have all the parameters or the dimensions. So I'm going to start off with the district, parish, village, and then I'll come and say gender, marital status, education level, access to water for farming. All right. I also call main crop. All right. And then we can also look at the different ones here. Weed control, erosion control, mulching of main crop or just mulching. Yes, all this we want to have them as dimensions. So we have two types of parameters. Parameters will help us, instead of creating different charts for every of these, we are just going to reuse this same chart, this single chart here for everything. All right. So how do we go about it? You go under modeling name, right? And then you select new parameter. You have numeric range and you have fields. Select fields. Okay. Now in here, you have what type of variable. Just have it as fields. And then the name of your parameter. So in here, we can just call it anything, but for me to be able to track and differentiate it from other tables, we're just going to call it the parameter dimension. Just call it dimension. But you can rename this to be anything. All right. So the first thing that I want here from my farmer DB, all right, we need to have the district. All right. So come and just select the district. We're going to see, we're going to add it here. The next thing is a parish. All right. Select parish. The next thing is the village. Select village. The next thing is what? The next thing can be main crop. Select main crop. The next thing can be gender. Select gender. The next thing can be what? Marital status. Now, I don't know whether you can have marital status, age group, depending with what you think is important to your project. This is how you're going to disaggregate, all right? So parameters help you to disaggregate your data, right? So I'll just pick marital status. Now I want to be able to report on everything within this data table. So I'm just going to try and add every dimension that is here. So after marital status, we can have education level. So pick education level, all right? And then, yes, you can say erosion, water for farming, access to water for farming. Let's see. Access to water for farming here. Pest and diseases, you can also have it here. Erosion, have it there. Mulching, gender is already picked. Mulching. Let's see. All right, you can also have fresh manure. Mulching of main crop there. Now, this is also going to be part of our measures, but under the measure parameters, right? These are the dimension parameter, and then we are going to have this measure parameter. So you can also select organic fertilizer, pest and diseases, pruning, shade provided, use of organic fertilizer, and weeds control, right? So we've picked everything we need. Okay, we've picked everything we need. So what is the next thing? So the next thing is to just come down here and you make sure that this one add slicer to this page. So check it and then select create. Okay, there you are. Right. So from here, this visual here, at this point, we can even get rid of, I think we can, okay, I'm going to get rid of this because we now have it here. Now, we have number of registered farmers. Currently, it's just reporting on the number of registered farmers, but we also want this to be able to aggregate it down, either by district, parish, village, main crop, and others, right? So for that, you're able to see under your table here, under your fields here, you have a new table that has been added here called the dimension table. All right. If we select this data view and we pick this, you're going to see that it's actually a table and it's actually tracking all the things that you have added here. And then you can have the first column here is the PRM dimension, and then the dimension fields, and then the dimension order. So we start with the 0. This one will determine the order of your fields. So if you wanted to change any of these order fields, you just come and use this 0. You can see here. So if I wanted this maybe to be order 18, it will take it to the last order. So maybe let's just have it like that. Okay. Now, when you come here, you can see district is no longer listed as the main one. All right. It should be the one at the bottom here. Right. If I wanted it to be the first one there, simply just switch back to the data view and change this order to 0. All right. So in that fashion. Okay. Now you can see it has been taken back up here. Okay. I believe that one is okay. Now, for now, we're just going to select this format painter and then click here like that. And then from this, I'll just select this, can delete this, and then we can push this up. Right. Now for this, I'll just maybe drag it down a little bit, and then I'm going to resize this parameter. Right there. Then we can just resize this a little bit. Right. Now, feel free, if this doesn't really work well for you, you have different options. You can just take it back to how it was by selecting it and going to format and then selecting slicer settings and changing it from tile to vertical list. All right. Or yeah, just a minute. So you can also be using the undo here to just take it back to how it was at an earlier stage. All right, I think that is as far as it can go. All right, so I'll just change it from here. vertical list, and sorry, so we need to delete this. Just have it here. Let me have it here as a side panel, and then make sure it's selected. Go to slicer settings, change this to vertical list. There you are, and then you can actually come to the values. Font color is white, but still change this. Let me have it as black, and then background. The background, let me have it as white. Okay, there. So here we are. Okay, now I want to be able, if I pick district, it should be able to give me a breakdown by district. If I pick parish, it should be able to give me a breakdown by parish. So how do we achieve this? Now from this here, this visual here, this is going to be our KPI. It's going to be, we're going to use this single visual to report on all these dimensions. So for that, just select this, and then under add data, pick this. All right, and then from this district, now we want it to be dynamic. We want our y-axis to be dynamic. So what do? We're going to just come here and change it with our parameter table. All right, so select your parameter table and pick this dimension column like that. All right, very good. So let's see whether it has worked. Okay, now let's pick district. All right, so if you pick district, good. Let me just turn on the data labels. Turn on the data label. It's very tiny. Just increase it a little bit here under data labels. Then under values, we increase this font size to something like 12. Now, let's pick parish. Okay, you can see now it's doing it by parish. Let's pick village. All right, supporting it by village. Let's pick the main crop. Supporting by main crop. Let's pick gender. Supporting by gender. Let's pick marital status. Supporting by marital status. So this is registered farmers by marital status. All right. Let's see by access to water for farming. So registered farmers by access to water for farming. So out of our pool of farmers, we have 825 farmers who have access to water for their farms, while we have 302 who do not have access to water. All right. Pests and diseases. Let's see. There. These are the different pests and diseases that have been that were reported. Use of organic fertilizer. All right, we have yes and we have no, not much of a difference here. Weeds control. There we have good, average, and poor. Yes, so that's how you can use parameters. All right. Now remember also, you also have apart from farmers, we have main crops and we have acres and we have farm size and we have productive crops and non-productive crops. Let's see how to do that. Now for that, we're going to create meshes. So far on our meshes, we only have what? We have farmers. We have registered farmers. We also have main crops. And we have farm size. We have farm size, yes. So we have main crops we have farm size, and we have, yes, that one is okay. Now, for this to work, we're going to also create another, we're going to create another parameter, right? So we go back to modeling, we select a new parameter, we select fields, and then I'll just say parameter, and then I'll say just the KPIs. All right. Now in here, I'm going to go into the measure table. All right. The first KPI I'm going to pick is going to be farmers, registered farmers. All right. And then the next one is going to be main crop plants. The third one is going to be farm size. You can go ahead and add any other, just like maybe the productive crops and non-productive crops, but we have not created that. You can also do it by gender here, male and female. You can add male and female. Right? For now, let's just keep it simple like this. So just select on create like that. Right? Now you have it here. All right. So for this, just select this format painter and modify this. We have it like that. I'll squeeze it somehow like that. For this, I can just swing it up here, and then this one here, just position it here somewhere here. Enlarge it a little bit up to somewhere there, something like that. Okay. Now here we have it. Okay. So let me just maybe take it back here to district. All right. So this is registered farmers by district. All right. So we want it to be able to be dynamic. All right. So far it's just only reporting on the registered farmers, but we also want it to be able to report on the number of plants and the farm size. So back here to this build visual, we're going to change this registered farmers to our table, the parameter KPI table. All right. So just select this, come here, find your parameter table KPI, this one, and select KPI like that. All right, just ignore this and close, and then there. Now, you can see now it says main crop plants by district. If I pick registered farmers, you can see it has updated. Main crops, it has updated. Farm size, there, it has updated. All right. You can also come here to main crop. All right. So we have coffee arabica and vanilla. The farm size is 281 acres, and here is 271. I can change this to farmers, so you can see registered farmers by main crop, registered farmers main crop plants by the main crop, and then we also have farm size by main crop. All right. You can also look at other things like education level. All right. You can look at land ownership, farm size. All right. So here is farm size by education level. So majority of the farmers don't have any type of formal education, and that is followed by primary level, and then secondary level, and the least are degree honors. So this one can tell you that most learned people don't engage in farming. It might not be true, but the data, that's what the data is saying. All right. So you can use this in terms of operations and all that. All right. Let's look maybe at organic fertilizer, by how they use organic fertilizer. Okay, let me maybe pick something else. Press turn on.